you want a blanket for later, you can have it certainly. You don't really need it right now necessarily, or a towel. So start to lower yourself all the way down to the back. Allow everything to start to settle. Allow the eyes to close. And just leave the soles of the feet on the earth for now. Check in with your breath. Check in with how the breath is landing in the body. And maybe notice if here, how things feel in the low back. So notice if the pelvis is tilted, if it feels like a strain on the low back. Sometimes feels like less of a strain to have the feet grounded. Just allow the knees to fall gently side to side. Making a little bit of small movement here. And then if the low back is not super tight, you can allow the knees to stretch long for a few rounds of breath. If when you do that, you feel the pelvis tilt and it feels better to come back to soles of the feet on the earth, totally fine. We'll just be here 5 rounds of breath. Allow the shoulders to relax into the mat. Maybe take a cleansing breath, big inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Using the breath to settle the mind down just a little. So whatever's rocking on the surface, starting to anchor down to this place in the mat. Take another cleansing breath, big inhale. Exhale, side out. Awesome. Step a foot and then the other. Reset the spine. We'll start to reach for the knees, and we'll do this a few times, but rock and roll side to side. So it starts to give a little massage to the low back. So if you feel those little knots in the low back, nice and gentle. Maybe rock a little farther to one side and hold. And come back. Just exploring this pose longer than we normally would. And then come back to neutral. We'll extend the legs and the arms long. Reach and stretch. Big inhale. Exhale, hug the knees in again and rock. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach long. Lengthen. Exhale, hug the knees in. It's time to allow the knees to fall to one side. So twisting can really help relieve some of our low back pain. We just need to be gentle with our twist. So allow the knees to drop over to the right. Maybe you sort of stack them to the degree that it's comfortable. If that feels like way too much, you can put a blanket underneath the knee, or maybe prop your knee up with your hand. So allowing the shoulders to be glued to the mat. Close the eyes. Think about pulling the belly in. And slowly pull the knees back into the chest. Make a little movement here, and then we'll rock the knees over to the left. Sides may feel different. Try to root down. Cross the shoulders so nice and equal there. Come back to neutral. So as we think about our low back and we think about all of the other muscle groups that are attached or close by or affecting the low back, a lot of other things that we need to try to keep open. So we'll work a little bit here, extend the right leg, flex and point the toes, and then cross the right ankle over the left knee, and we'll just rock this a little side to side. Just rock this shape, noticing the little twist that's happening in the core. So rock it a little farther to the right, then back to center, and a little farther to the left. Awesome, come back to neutral. Extend the leg long again, flex and point the toes. Just warming up the hamstrings, and switch. Left leg extends long, point and flex the toes. Then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Find your little rock. So it might feel better to extend the arms to have a little bit of place to ground. Nice and slow rock the shape side to side. Again, keeping the shoulders glued. Noticing a little bit of work in the core to slow down the momentum. Come back to neutral. Extend the leg long, point and flex the toes. And then we'll catch the backs of the legs and we'll start to rock up and down the spine. So a little bit of movement here. Pause at the top, find your boat pose, engage the abdominals. Let's do this 3 or 4 more times. As usual, I'm on a squeaky part of the floor. I don't know if you can hear that. Eventually we'll roll up to seated. So if you have your blanket or your towel folded over a few times, you certainly don't have to. But I think it feels nice to elevate the hips a little and allow the knees to fall down a little bit more naturally. So find whatever comfortable seat looks like to you. Allow the shoulders to fall from the ears. And notice if naturally you start to find a bigger curve in the spine. See if you can tuck the pelvis under and find a more neutral spine. So your spine obviously has a pretty big curve. Some of us tend to over-exaggerate that and we allow the chest to come forward. So rock forward and back just a little. See if you can find that natural place where the vertebrae stack, where you can engage just gently the belly button towards the spine. A few times roll the shoulders up to the ears. And then we'll take a couple of twists here. So inhale, reach the arms overhead. I'll twist opposite of you. So right hand to left knee, gaze over the left shoulder. So we're really trying to take this twist from the center of the low back, from the thoracic part of the spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. So what we consider the low back, the lumbar section of the spine, really there's a lot less ability to twist there, just the way the vertebrae are fused. Inhale, reach. So we want to make sure we're never wrenching into the low back. We're not really built to twist from there. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. So notice the belly, see if you can keep the belly engaged. One more time each side. Inhale, reach and lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. Last time. Come back to neutral. Bring the hands to heart. We'll take the hands to the knees. Find some cat-cows seated. So pull the chest and the chin forward. Take that spine out of that alignment. And then round back in, tuck the chin. Find that opposite curve in the spine. We'll take this slow. So find your fullest expression of your cow pose, shining the chest and the chin forward. And then exhale, round the spine, pull the belly in, roll the shoulders forward, tuck the chin. Keep rolling with your breath. Take about 5 or 6 more rounds of breath here. And then when you feel complete, start to come back to neutral. We'll walk the fingertips forward. So start to lead with a flat back. Walk them forward to the point where you feel some resistance and press the glutes back, and then start to walk them back. We'll do that 2 more times. So if inhale, lift up nice and tall with a flat back. Exhale, start to walk it forward. Keep the glutes glued down. 1 more time through. Maybe hold here, option to round forward just a little. Let the head and neck be heavy. And then we'll start to walk it over to the left. I'll mirror you. Maybe you extend the arms a little more. Just be gentle. Try to keep that opposite glute glued down. Walk it back through center, take it over to the other side. Walk it back through center and then walk it back up to neutral. Awesome, we'll take soles of the feet together. Find your bound angle here, knees fall a little wider. So you can allow the soles of the feet and the heels to be a little bit farther away. Same thing, inhale up nice and tall, and then start to work your way forward, starting to lead with a straight spine, and then maybe round over when you get to the bottom. Two more rounds of breath. Slowly rise up. I'm gonna come off this blanket. If it still feels good, you can continue to use it. We'll take a similar twist here. So keeping the legs in this bound angle position. Inhale, reach up tall. Again, I'll mirror you. Right hand to left knee. Left hand back behind you. Find this twist. Inhale back to center and reach. Exhale, twist to other side. So maybe you're a little bit deeper than you were when you were just cross-legged. Inhale, reach back to center. This time, reach for the backs of the knees and pull the knees in. And we'll take the hands back behind us and just allow the knees to rock side to side. We'll go through a series of transitions from our child's pose. So child's pose can be really nice for the low back. Just be gentle here. I'm gonna fold my blanket a little wider. So for me, sometimes my child's pose, the knees actually come wider than the mat. I may just have a little bit more space there than some people. So just be gentle. For a lot of us, the knees will probably come the width of the mat, or maybe if we're feeling a little tighter, they'll come a little closer to center. In your child's pose, the legs can be together if that feels better. Traditional child's pose, the knees come a little wider, maybe the width of the mat. The hips come back to the heels, and we start to walk the chest and the chin forward. Melt the forehead down. We'll be here for about 10 rounds of breath, so see where you can be. Find a place of comfort. If you need to place something underneath your head, feel free. 2 more rounds of breath here. Start to walk the hands back up. We'll come up in order to find a little deeper of a side twist. So walk the fingertips out and then over to the right. Melt the hips back down. Walk it back through center. Take everything over to the left. Melt the hips back down. Walk it back through center. Come back to your tabletop position. Get out of the hips a little bit. Shake it side to side. Walk forward just a little bit. And if the knees are padded, this may feel better. But pick the toes up and just shake gently side to side. Just finding a little bit of movement there. Then we'll find our cat-cow. So hands underneath shoulders. Drop the belly, lift the gaze, inhale. Find that exaggerated curve in the spine, and then round up, find your cat pose, puff up between the shoulder blades. Keep rolling with your breath here, cat and cow. We'll come back to our child's pose, so settle back in. And we'll do thread the needle from child. So if you prefer thread the needle, threading the arm under from tabletop, you can stay there. Otherwise, from child, thread the right arm under, melt the hips back, walk the left fingertips overhead. So you're shooting this right arm straight underneath. Slowly come back up to neutral. Other side, thread the left arm under. Coming on to that left shoulder, left side of the forehead. Come back to neutral. We'll come forward and find our Sphinx pose. So we'll start to shoot the legs out, slowly lower to the belly. Elbows underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers wide. Release in the low back here, peel the shoulders away from the ears. Two more rounds of breath. Then we'll find our neutralizing pose. Some people call it crocodile. Stack the palms on top of each other, rest the head. And windshield wiper the feet and the heels side to side. We'll come back up to our Sphinx. Option if you want a little bit more, turn the fingertips out to the corners of the mat, start to straighten the arms, peel the shoulders down, so we're really strengthening in the low back, engaging those muscles, and lengthening across the front body. If you ever feel anything that feels uncomfortable here, please come out gently. Slowly release, find your crocodile resting pose. Windshield wiper the feet. Option to stay in Sphinx or all the way on the mat, or if you'd like to find full locust, interlace the fingers or reach reach the fingers long, zip the legs together, reach up, use the strength of the low back. Two more rounds of breath. Lift another inch. Exhale, let it go. Allow the legs to fall a little wider. And then take your windshield wipers from there. We'll come back to child's pose. Press yourself back through table. And find a little baby child, so maybe you bring the knees closer together and just round the forehead down to the mat. Relax the arms. Little embryo pose. So we're lengthening across the back to find a counter pose to the strength work. Slowly rise up. Roll the shoulders. We'll do a couple of gentle sun salutations, and then we'll do just a few standing poses here that will help, especially some of the side areas. So start to walk yourself out. We're gonna come to a plank. Option to keep the knees down. If you wanna find full plank, rocking the shoulders over the wrist, maybe tucking the toes, lifting the knees, finding your plank. Hold the core here, working the core in order to strengthen it. Helps us with our low back. And then press it back, find your down dog. So we'll find some nice slow walking of the dog, but one knee then the other. So lengthening out the backs of the legs. We'll take the soles of the feet a little wider, almost as wide as the mat. Walk the hands back just slightly, find a twist. Right hand to left ankle. Little down dog twist here, hold. 3 more rounds of breath. And switch. 5 rounds of breath on this side. Come back to neutral. Walk it out long. Find your plank, rock forward, or option to come to the knees. Check in with your breath. Press it back. Find your down dog. We'll slowly start to walk it forward. Find a forward fold. So big bend in the knees. Allow the hamstrings, that little break here. Head and neck are heavy. Forward fold's a great pose for the low back, as long as you're not trying to force the legs into straight. And then find a little sway. And then we'll walk the hands a little bit farther over to the left. Find this forward fold twist. Walk it back through center and then walk the hands over to the right. Out to the right of the right foot. Awesome, come back to center. Lift up halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold. Root down, rise up, take it all the way overhead. Press the hips forward, find a little back bend. Exhale the hands to heart. Awesome, so we'll work through a few little standing poses. We're gonna pull the left knee into the chest. I'll face you first. Pull the knee into the chest, just like we would do on our backs. Squeeze the knee into the chest. Pull the belly button and engage the core. And then see if you can hold. Use the core support to hold the leg. Maybe you find openness in mountain pose in the hands. I don't have enough room to kick the leg straight, but we're going to try to kick the leg straight. I don't want to kick my plant here. So kick the leg straight. See if you can hold it with the core. And we're going to slowly drag this foot back to meet the right, and then back and find our way into our warrior two. So however you need to step to get there. Bend into the front knee, hips and shoulders square. Reach out over the front fingertips. Settle in here. Find a little bit of movement, especially for lengthening the sides of the body. So reach forward, flip the front palm, take it back, find our peaceful. And then flow forward, side angle, right arm, right knee, left arm overhead, reach. 2 more times, flow with your breath. Keeping the bend in that front knee if you're able. Last time. We'll straighten the front leg, bring the arms back up to warrior two. So moving into triangle. Triangle is really nice for the low back. Shoot the hips back, reach the fingertips forward, and then right hand comes to right shin, or if you had a block, I was using cans the other day, soup cans. Oh, just looked out the window and it's snowing. Huh. It's April in Wisconsin for you. It's like the 5th day it snowed in like a week. Okay, back to the yoga. Find your triangle. Maybe gaze up if there's space in the neck. And slowly bend back into the front knee. Find your warrior two. We'll turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. And then we'll switch to the other side. So hop the right foot up. Now I'm facing the windows with the snow. Pull the right knee into the chest. Roll the ankle out. Squeeze the knee in. Engage the belly button into the spine. And then try to release this leg. Hold it in using the core. Toe is flexed or foot is flexed. And then extend the leg long. Hold. Find the strength here. Awesome. Start to drop it to meet. And then slowly take it back. Find your warrior two on this side. Bend into the front knee. Gaze out over the front fingertips. So left knee bent. I know it's hard if the screen is kind of backwards for you guys. Left knee bent, front heel, back arch in alignment. Release the shoulders away from the ears. We'll find that little movement. So reach forward, tick forward, flip the palm, take it back, peaceful. And then start to come forward, side angle, left elbow, left knee, right arm up and over. And switch. One more full time through. Breath is flowing nice and easy. Straighten out the front leg. Come back to your warrior two arms. Shoot the hips back. Reach forward. Find Trikonasana triangle on this side. Maybe you find a floating triangle. You allow the hand to just hover using the core, the strength of the belly and the low back, or maybe you ground this front hand. Maybe gaze is up to the thumb. Thumb is directly over the right shoulder. Two more rounds of breath. Notice where you may feel this in that space where the hips and the low back connect. Awesome. We're going to walk back all 10 toes, the long edge, just to transition. Then step it back up to the front. Doesn't matter how you get there, shake it out. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold a little bit more. We'll find another twist here. So right knee comes to a nice bend. Start to straighten the left leg towards straight. Right hand on the mat or maybe up on the fingertips, or if you have a book or a block. Then the left arm lifts, find a twist. So right knee bent, right hand down, left arm lifts. It always feels like I'm calling out Twister for this pose, which I bought and my fiance will not play with me. And Twister's really not fun with one person. Slowly come back to neutral, shake the legs out. Because I tried to have him call the poses and I did it, but it's not really very fun by yourself. Bend into the left knee, left hand down to the mat. Right leg starts to come towards straight. Peel the right arm up. Awesome, come back to neutral, shake the legs out. We'll find a little deeper forward fold here. Allow the head and the neck to be heavy. Find your sway. Option to find a little bit deeper of a fold. Take your first two fingers and your thumbs. Hook the big toes if there's space. Come up halfway, lift, straighten the elbows. Fold a little bit in the knees, take the elbows wide. One more round of breath. Release the toes. Start to sit the hips back. And then see if you can sit back without your hands. Maybe just for fun. I'm going to turn to face the other way. It's just normally the way I face when we're on our backs. We'll do a little bit more work holding in the abdominals here, just to strengthen that part. So we'll find our boat pose, zip the legs together, release the legs high, reach for the backs of the thighs, and peel the shoulders down. We'll be here for about 10 rounds of breath. So you can either keep a hold of the legs if you want more of a challenge, release the arms. Use the breath, start to create that fire in the belly. The legs are shaking and the core is shaking, that's okay. Two more rounds of breath. Awesome, take the soles of the feet together, knees wide. We'll find that forward fold with our bound angle again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round forward. For me, it feels nice to place the blanket over the feet. So you may be up here. Doesn't matter how far you fold, just find a place that you find a little bit of resistance. You're getting a nice stretch. Slowly start to round up. We're going to extend the legs long, find staff pose. Let's get the good stuff out of the way. I'm going to try to roll my blanket up to make kind of a pillow. I don't know that this is going to work, but we'll try. So if you have a thicker blanket that will kind of roll, it may feel nice on the fold. So inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, start to hinge forward. We'll do this a few times just to create some space. Exhale as you reach towards the toes. Inhale, reach. And then this time, if you want to fold forward and you do have your little pillow blanket thing that we're doing, then maybe you can fold forward and start to rest there. So for some of you that may feel better, maybe some it doesn't feel as good. So we'll just be here for a few rounds of breath. Whatever I've done is not really working very well, but maybe you had better success. Melt a little more. One more round of breath. Slowly start to walk it back. Soles of the feet on the earth. Scooch the bottom to meet the heels, and we're gonna find bridge pose. So rock it down onto the back. Reset so that the heels are in a little closer to the bum. Hands are by the sides. Fingertips are pressing in. And we're gonna press the vertebra away one at a time. Start to press the feet into the earth. Engage the low back, strengthening there and lengthening across the front body. Then slowly start to drop it down one vertebra at a time. So try to keep the knees in line with the hips. Make sure the knees aren't splaying out. Root into the feet, root into the hands. Peel the vertebra off one at a time till you come to the shoulders. And slowly start to drop it back down. One more time. We'll hold for another few rounds of breath. If you want to walk the shoulders under and clasp the hands if you have that space and it feels good. Trying to keep knees in line with hips. And start to slowly walk the shoulders out. Release the vertebra one at a time. Walk the soles of the feet as wide as the mat. Just find a little bit of rock to side to side. Awesome. Hug the knees into the chest. Just like we did at the start of class, rock back and forth. And then we'll take a final twist here. So option to take the same as we did before, just zipping the legs together and dropping to the right. If you want a little bit more, you can cross the left thigh over the right. Find a little squeeze between the thighs here and then drop them over. So option to gaze over the left shoulder. Take a few rounds of breath here. Come back to neutral. Rock side to side, find a little neutrality here, and then other side, any version of your twist, dropping everything over to the left. Come back to neutral. Take any other movements that you need to round out your practice. If you need another inversion, just take a few breaths, maybe in happy baby, reaching for the outside of the feet or the ankles, allowing the tailbone to start to melt back towards the earth. Maybe it feels nice to rock the head side to side. One more round of breath here. Slowly release. It may feel nice to place this little rolled blanket underneath the knees. So for some of us, having some elevation underneath the knees feels really nice in our Shavasana because it takes any of the strain off the low back. So if that feels comfortable, maybe give yourself that little gift of setting up before you make your way into your Shavasana. Allowing the hands to fall open or rest on the belly wherever you feel most comfortable. Allowing the eyes to be heavy or closed for our final resting pose. Releasing any hold or strain on the breath. Melting that space between the eyebrows. Allowing the ground to hold the shoulders and the weight of the body up. Take a few minutes of rest here to allow your practice to soak in. I'll bring us back together to close class and share our reading. Slowly starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Allow the soles of the feet to start to come to the earth one at a time. And pull the knees into the chest and rock over to one side, finding the fetal posture before gently pressing up to seated. Take your time to get there, no rush. As you find your way to seated, find your way into whatever is comfortable in the legs. Allow the spine to be nice and tall. Allow the hands to rest on the knees. Just noticing the effects that your practice has mentally and physically. So for those of us practicing live middle of April 2020, certainly an unusual time. I think a lot of us are finding that we think we know what is coming, or we think that there is a chance that maybe orders will be lifted at a certain time at the end of April or the early part of May, and then we start to make plans for a month or two later, and then we realize that maybe is not happening. So it feels like we're in this period of stopping and starting. And so I'm reading from Gunilla Norris, Inviting Silence, about that exact topic. So indulge me for just a minute or two, and then we will close class. She's talking about her inner journey to find stillness and silence and the stopping and starting that comes from that practice. One of the hardest lessons of any inner journey is to understand that our ideal sense of how things should be and the actual experience are miles apart. Very appropriate for this time. To be with our being is the most simple, direct, truly human capacity. And it's the most difficult to sustain. In just 2 minutes of sitting quietly, we will soon discover that our minds have gone gone off by themselves with plans, fantasies, judgments, hopes, and fears. And in no time flat, we have flown away from our presence in the present. To accept that we do this all the time is to accept the process of stopping and starting again and again. When we take an actual trip, it is what happens as well. We go a distance, then we stop. We travel another distance, often not seeing and doing what we thought we would, but meeting whatever comes our way instead. This happens on the inner plane too. We think we are moving towards a recognizable peace or a natural stillness, and we discover we are in the noisiest city of all, our mind. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, and start again. We will only do relatively well, even if we have been on the path for years. So I think that is just an open invitation to allow things to come as they are, whatever you meet on the path. As you find this stopping and starting of being at home, being stuck in a certain place, of activities, hobbies, whatever is stopping and starting, just allowing that to come as it is, not berating yourself for maybe feeling like things aren't going the way you had designed them. And of course, none of us designed exactly this situation to start with. So allowing that to settle, coming back to a deeper breath. When you're ready, we'll take a cleansing breath together. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, let it go. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sigh. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let it go. Let the knuckles of the thumbs connect to the sternum, symbolizing the connection of our body to our breath, our prana, our life force. Taking a moment to find gratitude for all of it, the stopping, the starting, the unknown things on our path. Gratitude for our practice, all the work and toll that our body takes to do something nice for it. Reminding yourself that you are enough just as you are right now. All the stopping and starting again. You have always been enough. You will always be enough. No changes needed. No apologies necessary. Taking this sense of gratitude and this feeling of being enough with you through the rest of your day and your week. It's truly my honor to guide you through your practice. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Namaste, yogis. I hope your low back is feeling the love, feeling maybe a little bit more strong and open. Thank you so much for practicing with us